Imagine for a moment that everything in your life is a reflection of your inner world, a direct projection of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Consider the possibility that the events, circumstances, and people in your life are not random occurrences, but are instead manifestations of your inner state. This idea might seem radical at first, but it is one of the most profound truths you can ever embrace. The world you experience externally is nothing more than a mirror of your internal state of being. It is shaped and molded by the thoughts you entertain and, more importantly, by the feelings you hold. Feelings are the secret to manifesting your reality, for they are the true creators of your experience. When you think of something you desire, your mind naturally forms an image of that desire. This image is crucial, but it is not the image alone that brings about the manifestation. The key to turning this mental picture into a tangible reality lies in your ability to feel as though the desire has already been fulfilled. It is the feeling that activates the creative power within you, setting into motion the forces that bring your desire into being. Feelings are the language of the subconscious mind, the part of you that is responsible for creating your reality. The subconscious mind does not think, reason, or question. It simply responds to the feelings it is given. When you consistently impress a feeling upon your subconscious, it takes that feeling as a command and works tirelessly to bring it into your external world. This is why it is essential to align your feelings with your desires. If you desire wealth, but your predominant feeling is one of lack or fear, then lack and fear will continue to manifest in your life. Your subconscious mind will take your feeling of lack and recreate it in your external world, no matter how much you consciously desire wealth. Therefore, it is not enough to merely think about what you want. You must feel it. You must feel the joy, the excitement, the relief, the satisfaction of having already achieved your desire. This feeling is what impresses the subconscious mind and sets the creative process into motion. Consider a seed planted in the ground. The seed contains within it the potential to grow into a mighty tree, but this potential can only be realized if the conditions are right. The soil must be fertile, the water plentiful, and the sunlight abundant. In the same way, your desires are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The conditions that allow these seeds to grow into reality are your feelings. If you plant a seed in barren soil, it will not grow, no matter how much you water it or how much sunlight it receives. Similarly, if you hold a desire in your mind, but your feelings are contrary to that desire, it will not manifest, no matter how much effort you put into achieving it. The soil of your subconscious mind must be fertile with the feelings of fulfillment, satisfaction, and belief in your desire's realization. You may wonder how you can generate feelings of fulfillment when the physical evidence of your desire is not yet present. The answer lies in your imagination. Imagination is the workshop of the mind, the place where all things are created. When you imagine something vividly and with feeling, your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between the imagined experience and a real one. It accepts the imagined experience as reality and begins to work to bring it into your physical world. To use this power effectively, you must practice feeling as though your desire is already fulfilled, even if your current reality suggests otherwise. This requires discipline and persistence, but the rewards are worth it. By consistently imagining and feeling the fulfillment of your desire, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to create that reality for you. It is important to understand that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not a fleeting emotion or a passing thought. It is a deep, abiding conviction that your desire is already a reality. This conviction must become a part of your everyday consciousness, a natural and effortless state of being. When you reach this level of feeling, manifestation becomes inevitable. However, many people struggle with maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled because they are too focused on the current lack of their desire. They allow the external world to dictate their feelings rather than allowing their feelings to shape their external world. This is the reverse of how the creative process works. You must first feel it internally before it can manifest externally. To help you maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, I suggest incorporating it into your daily routine. Set aside time each day to enter a state of deep relaxation and focus on your desire. Visualize it clearly and vividly in your mind's eye. See yourself already in possession of your desire. Feel the emotions that come with its fulfillment. Let these feelings permeate every cell of your being. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become, and the more quickly your desire will manifest. It is also important to guard your thoughts and feelings throughout the day. Be mindful of any negative or contrary thoughts that arise and immediately replace them with thoughts and feelings of fulfillment. Remember that your feelings are the secret to creating your reality, so it is essential to keep them aligned with your desires. You may encounter challenges and setbacks along the way, but do not let them deter you. These are simply opportunities to strengthen your conviction and deepen your belief in the power of your feelings. Every time you choose to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, despite external appearances, you are taking a powerful step toward its manifestation. The process of manifestation is not always instantaneous, and it requires patience and faith. But rest assured, if you persist in feeling the fulfillment of your desire, it will come to pass. The universe has no choice but to respond to the feelings you consistently impress upon your subconscious mind. Feeling is the secret to manifesting your desires. It is the bridge between your thoughts and your reality, the force that brings your desires into being. By mastering your feelings and aligning them with your desires, you can create the life you truly want. Remember that the power to create is within you, and it is activated by your feelings. Use this power wisely, and watch as your desires unfold before your eyes. In the exploration of the role of feelings in the manifestation process, it is essential to first recognize the profound influence that feelings have on shaping our reality. The power of feelings lies at the very heart of creation. While thoughts play a significant role in directing our focus and imagination in forming mental images of our desires, it is the feelings associated with these thoughts that imbue them with the energy needed to manifest into physical reality. This understanding is rooted in the idea that the subconscious mind, which is responsible for the creation of our external circumstances, responds not to the words or ideas we hold, but to the emotional charge that accompanies them. Feelings are the language of the subconscious mind. They are the emotional vibrations that signal to the subconscious what is real and what should be manifested in our physical world. When a person feels something deeply, whether it is joy, fear, love, or anger, that feeling is communicated to the subconscious as an instruction, a blueprint for what should be brought into reality. The subconscious does not discriminate between positive or negative feelings. It simply works to manifest whatever is most consistently and intensely felt. Consider, for example, a person who desires financial abundance but consistently feels fear or anxiety about money. Even if they spend time thinking about wealth or visualizing themselves as wealthy, if their predominant feeling is one of lack or worry, their subconscious mind will interpret this feeling as the true reality and work to perpetuate a state of lack. This is why so many people find themselves stuck in patterns of scarcity or struggle, despite their best efforts to think positively or take practical steps toward their goals. The secret lies not in the mere act of thinking about what one wants, but in feeling as though one already possesses it. This brings us to the critical importance of aligning one's feelings with one's desires. To manifest a specific outcome, it is essential to cultivate the feeling of already having that which is desired. This is not simply about thinking positively or repeating affirmations. It is about genuinely feeling the emotions that would accompany the fulfillment of the desire. For instance, if a person desires a loving relationship, they must not only imagine themselves in such a relationship, but also feel the love, joy, and contentment that would naturally accompany it. This feeling must be genuine and sustained, not just a fleeting emotion that is quickly overshadowed by doubt or fear. The process of aligning feelings with desires requires a deliberate and conscious effort to shift one's emotional state. It involves moving beyond the surface level of thoughts and engaging deeply with the emotional experience of having already achieved one's goals. This can be done through practices such as visualization, where one vividly imagines the desired outcome and allows the associated feelings to arise naturally. Another effective method is gratitude, where one focuses on the aspects of life that are already in alignment with their desires, cultivating a feeling of appreciation that naturally elevates their emotional state. Gratitude, in particular, is a powerful tool for aligning feelings with desires because it shifts focus away from what is lacking and towards what is abundant. When a person practices gratitude, they are essentially telling their subconscious mind that they already have what they need, that they are already in a state of fulfillment. This feeling of fulfillment then attracts more of the same, creating a positive feedback loop where the experience of abundance leads to more abundance. By consistently cultivating feelings of gratitude, a person can reprogram their subconscious mind to focus on abundance rather than lack, leading to the manifestation of their desires. However, it is important to note that aligning feelings with desires is not always an easy task. It requires a level of emotional discipline and self-awareness that many people are not accustomed to. It involves being mindful of one's emotional state throughout the day and making a conscious effort to shift into a state of feeling that aligns with one's desires. This might mean letting go of negative emotions or beliefs that are in conflict with what one wishes to create, and instead focusing on feelings that support the desired outcome. One practical approach to aligning feelings with desires is the practice of living in the end, which involves acting and feeling as though the desired outcome has already been achieved. This can be done by imagining how one would feel if their desire were already fulfilled, and then carrying that feeling with them throughout the day. For example, if someone desires a new job, they might imagine how they would feel on their first day in that job, the excitement, the confidence, the sense of achievement, and then try to embody those feelings as they go about their daily activities. By consistently living in the end, a person sends a powerful message to their subconscious mind that the desired outcome is already a reality, thereby accelerating its manifestation. It is also important to address the role of belief in this process. Belief is closely tied to feeling, as it is difficult to genuinely feel something that one does not believe to be possible. Therefore, cultivating belief in the possibility of one's desires is a crucial step in aligning feelings with those desires. This can be done by surrounding oneself with evidence of similar manifestations, whether through the experiences of others or by recalling one's own past successes. By building a strong belief in the possibility of their desires, a person can more easily generate the feelings of fulfillment that are necessary for manifestation. Ultimately, the power of feelings in manifestation cannot be overstated. They are the driving force behind the creation of reality, the fuel that powers the engine of the subconscious mind. By aligning one's feelings with one's desires, a person can harness this power to create the life they truly want. This is not a process that happens overnight, but with consistent practice and dedication, it is possible to master the art of feeling as though one's desires are already fulfilled, and in doing so, bring those desires into reality. Imagination is a powerful and often underestimated force within the human mind. It is the mental faculty that allows us to form images and concepts that are not present to the senses. While many people view imagination as merely a tool for creativity or problem solving, it holds a much deeper significance. Imagination is, in fact, the workshop of the mind where all things are created. It is the starting point of every action, event, and circumstance in our lives. By understanding and harnessing the power of imagination, we can shape our reality and bring our desires into existence. Imagination is not bound by the limitations of the physical world. It operates in the realm of the infinite, where anything is possible. In this space, there are no constraints of time, space, or material resources. When you imagine something vividly and with emotion, you are creating a blueprint for that thing to manifest in your physical reality. This is because the subconscious mind, which is responsible for creating our external world, cannot distinguish between an imagined experience and a real one. It accepts whatever the conscious mind impresses upon it, whether through actual experience or through imagination, and works to bring that impression into being. To use imagination as the workshop of the mind, it is crucial to engage in it consciously and deliberately. This means setting aside time each day to visualize your desires as though they are already a reality. Visualization is not just about seeing an image in your mind, it is about experiencing that image as if it were real. This involves engaging all your senses, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling the elements of your desired reality. The more vividly you can imagine the details, the more powerful the impression you will make on your subconscious mind. However, visualization alone is not enough. The key to making your imagined reality manifest is to combine it with feeling. This is because the subconscious mind responds to feelings, not just to thoughts or images. When you imagine something, you must also feel the emotions associated with it. If you are imagining financial success, for example, you should feel the joy, confidence, and security that would come with having that success. If you are imagining a loving relationship, you should feel the love, happiness, and contentment that would come with being in that relationship. These feelings are what give your imagined reality the energy it needs to take form in the physical world. This brings us to the importance of cultivating the feeling of fulfillment. The feeling of fulfillment is the emotional state of having already achieved your desire. It is a state of contentment, satisfaction, and certainty that your desire is already yours. When you cultivate this feeling, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of your desired reality, and in doing so, you draw it closer to you. Cultivating the feeling of fulfillment requires a shift in focus from what is lacking to what is already present. It involves training your mind to see and feel abundance, even when your external circumstances suggest otherwise. This can be challenging, especially if you are accustomed to focusing on what is missing or what is wrong in your life. However, with practice, it becomes easier to maintain this state of mind. One effective way to cultivate the feeling of fulfillment is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the recognition and appreciation of the good things in your life, both big and small. When you practice gratitude, you are telling your subconscious mind that you are already in a state of abundance, which in turn attracts more abundance into your life. By focusing on what you are grateful for, you naturally shift your emotional state from lack to fulfillment. Another method for cultivating the feeling of fulfillment is to act as if this means behaving and thinking as though your desire has already been fulfilled. For example, if you desire to be in a loving relationship, you might start by treating yourself with the love and care you would expect from a partner. You might also make space in your life for this relationship, such as by clearing out a drawer or making time in your schedule for shared activities. By acting as if your desire is already a reality, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that it is time to bring this reality into being. It is also important to note that the feeling of fulfillment should not be forced or contrived. It should arise naturally from a deep sense of belief and conviction that your desire is already yours. This belief is cultivated through repeated visualization, affirmation, and practice. The more you engage in these practices, the more natural and effortless the feeling of fulfillment will become. However, maintaining the feeling of fulfillment requires vigilance. It is easy to slip back into old patterns of doubt, fear, or negativity, especially when faced with challenges or setbacks. This is why it is important to stay mindful of your thoughts and emotions throughout the day. If you notice that you are slipping into a negative state, take a moment to refocus your mind on your desired reality and the feelings associated with it. This might involve taking a few deep breaths, visualizing your desire, or repeating a positive affirmation. Imagination is the workshop of the mind where all things are created. By engaging in conscious and deliberate visualization, combined with a powerful feeling of fulfillment, you can impress your desires upon your subconscious mind and bring them into physical reality. The key to success lies in maintaining a consistent focus on your desired reality and cultivating the feeling that it is already yours. Through practice, patience, and persistence, you can harness the power of imagination and feeling to create the life you truly desire. As you navigate the process of manifesting your desires, it is crucial to understand the importance of guarding your thoughts and feelings. The mind is constantly active, processing an endless stream of thoughts throughout the day. These thoughts, whether positive or negative, are directly connected to your emotional state, which in turn influences your subconscious mind and ultimately your reality. To manifest effectively, it is essential to become a vigilant gatekeeper of your inner world, ensuring that your thoughts and feelings are in harmony with your desires. One of the biggest challenges people face when trying to manifest their desires is the presence of negative or contradictory thoughts. These thoughts can stem from past experiences, limiting beliefs, or external influences, such as the opinions of others or societal expectations. If left unchecked, they can undermine your efforts by planting seeds of doubt, fear, or insecurity in your subconscious mind. These negative emotions, if felt consistently, can become the dominant feelings that the subconscious mind acts upon, leading to the manifestation of undesired outcomes. To guard your thoughts and feelings effectively, the first step is to develop awareness. This involves paying close attention to your mental and emotional state throughout the day. Whenever you notice a negative thought or feeling arising, it is important to address it immediately rather than allowing it to take root. You can do this by consciously shifting your focus to something positive or by using affirmations to counteract the negative thought. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be able to achieve this," you can replace it with an affirmation like, "I am fully capable of achieving my desires." Another important aspect of guarding your thoughts and feelings is controlling the information you expose yourself to. The mind is highly suggestible, and the things you see, hear, and read can have a significant impact on your thoughts and emotions. To create an environment that supports your manifestation efforts, it is wise to limit your exposure to negative influences, such as pessimistic news, toxic relationships, or self-defeating narratives. Instead, surround yourself with positive, uplifting content that reinforces your belief in your ability to manifest your desires. Visualization and mental rehearsal are also powerful tools for guarding your thoughts and feelings. By regularly visualizing your desired outcome and immersing yourself in the associated positive feelings, you can reinforce your belief in the possibility of that outcome and reduce the influence of negative thoughts. This practice helps to solidify the desired state in your subconscious mind, making it easier to maintain positive thoughts and feelings even when faced with challenges. However, it's not enough to simply guard your thoughts and feelings on a conscious level. True transformation occurs when these positive patterns become ingrained in your subconscious mind, which requires persistence and consistency. This brings us to the importance of persistence and patience in the manifestation process. Manifestation is not always an instant process. It often requires time for your desires to materialize in the physical world. During this time, it is crucial to remain steadfast in your focus and belief, even when external circumstances do not yet reflect your desires. This is where persistence comes into play. Persistence is the unwavering commitment to maintaining your desired state of mind, regardless of what is happening around you. It is the determination to continue focusing on your desired outcome and feeling the emotions of its fulfillment, even in the face of doubt, setbacks, or delays. Patience, on the other hand, is the ability to trust the timing of the universe. It is the understanding that everything happens in its own perfect time, and that there is a natural process of gestation that must occur before your desires can manifest. Just as a seed planted in the ground takes time to grow into a tree, your desires require time to take root and blossom into reality. Patience is the ability to remain calm, composed, and confident during this process, knowing that your desires are on their way to you. The combination of persistence and patience creates a powerful force that propels your desires toward manifestation. Persistence ensures that you stay aligned with your desires, continuously feeding them with positive energy and belief. Patience ensures that you do not become discouraged or disheartened when results are not immediately visible. Together, these qualities help you maintain the feeling of fulfillment over time, which is crucial for successful manifestation. And it is also important to recognize that challenges and obstacles are a natural part of the manifestation process. They are not signs that you are failing or that your desires are unattainable. Instead, they are opportunities for growth and refinement. Each challenge presents a chance to strengthen your belief, deepen your commitment, and refine your vision. When faced with an obstacle, instead of giving in to frustration or doubt, use it as a catalyst to reinforce your desired state of mind and feelings. Persistence and patience also involve being flexible and open to change. Sometimes the universe delivers our desires in ways that we did not anticipate or on a timeline that differs from our expectations. In such cases, it is important to remain adaptable and receptive, trusting that the universe is always working in your favor. By staying persistent in your focus and patient in your approach, You allow the universe to work out the details and bring your desires to you in the most perfect way possible. Guarding your thoughts and feelings is essential for successful manifestation. By developing awareness, controlling your environment, and using visualization, you can ensure that your inner world is aligned with your desires. Persistence and patience are equally important, as they enable you to maintain your focus and belief over time, allowing your desires to manifest in their own perfect way and time. Together, these practices form the foundation for creating the life you truly desire, helping you to harness the full power of your mind and emotions to shape your reality. In conclusion, the journey of manifesting your desires is deeply rooted in the power of your mind and emotions. By understanding that imagination is the workshop of the mind, you can consciously create the images of the reality you wish to experience. However, it is the feelings you cultivate, the emotions of fulfillment and certainty, that truly bring these images to life in your external world. Guarding your thoughts and feelings is crucial to maintaining this alignment, ensuring that your inner world remains focused on abundance, positivity, and belief in your desires. Persistence and patience are the pillars that support this process, allowing you to remain steadfast in your vision and trust in the timing of the universe. Through these practices, you can harness the full power of your subconscious mind to shape your reality according to your deepest desires. This process is not always quick or easy, but with dedication, awareness, and unwavering belief, you have the ability to create a life that reflects your true potential and aspirations. Remember, the world you experience is a reflection of your inner state. By mastering your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, you can manifest the life you truly desire. Today I want to talk about a profound truth that transcends time, space, and understanding the oneness between God and ourselves. It's an idea that is both simple and powerful, yet often overlooked. Many of us go through life feeling separate, distant from God, believing that He is far away in some unreachable place. But the truth is, God and I are one. The concept of oneness with God is a profound spiritual truth that transcends religious boundaries, offering a deeper connection to the divine. Many people struggle with the idea of an intimate relationship with God, believing that He exists outside of them, distant, untouchable, and far removed from daily life. This separation creates a feeling of isolation, leading us to believe that we are navigating life on our own, relying on our limited resources. However, the truth is quite the opposite. God is not an external force detached from our lives. Instead, God is within us, woven into the very fabric of our being. To understand this oneness, we must first open ourselves to the idea that God's presence is not something to be attained, but something that already exists within us. From the moment of creation, we were made in God's image, as described in Genesis 1:27. This biblical truth is not merely a statement about physical resemblance, but a deeper reflection of our divine nature. We are spiritual beings, imbued with the essence of God, carrying His light and love within us. Yet much of life distracts us from this truth. We become consumed with worldly concerns, our careers, relationships, and personal ambitions, often forgetting the divine spark that resides in us. The journey to discovering oneness with God requires us to shift our focus inward, recognizing that the answers we seek are already present within our souls. This shift is not easy. It requires us to let go of the ego, the part of ourselves that clings to individuality and separation. The ego thrives on control, fear, and a sense of superiority or inferiority. It creates barriers between us and others and between us and God. The ego tells us that we are alone, responsible for our success or failure, and constantly in competition with others. In this mindset, we view God as something to strive for, a distant being who we must please or earn approval from. However, this is a limited and incomplete view of the divine relationship. When we step beyond the ego and allow ourselves to experience the truth of oneness, we realize that God's presence is not conditional. It is not something we must earn or prove worthy of. God's love and guidance are freely given, constantly available, and ever present. It is not a relationship of hierarchy, where God is above us and we are below. Instead, it is a relationship of unity, where God is within us and we are a part of Him. This understanding transforms the way we approach life. In realizing our oneness with God, we begin to see the world differently. We understand that the same divine presence that resides in us also resides in others. This awareness cultivates compassion, empathy, and love. When we interact with others, we no longer view them through the lens of separation, but as reflections of the same divine source. This change in perspective fosters deeper connections with the people around us, as we begin to see the common spiritual thread that binds us all. Understanding oneness with God empowers us in our daily lives. When we recognize that God is within us, we no longer feel the need to face challenges alone. We begin to trust in divine guidance, knowing that we are supported by a higher power that flows through us. This trust brings a sense of peace, even in difficult circumstances. Instead of reacting with fear or anxiety, we learn to lean into our inner connection with God, allowing His wisdom to guide our decisions. We stop seeing life as a series of obstacles to overcome and start viewing it as an unfolding journey, where God is walking with us every step of the way. This understanding of oneness also brings a sense of purpose. When we align ourselves with God, we begin to see that our lives are not random or meaningless. There is a divine purpose to our existence, and as we embrace this oneness, we become attuned to that purpose. We start to live with intention, guided by the knowledge that we are co-creators with God, manifesting His love and will in the world. This shift from separation to unity opens the door to a life filled with deeper meaning, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. Understanding our oneness with God is the foundation for living a spiritually awakened life. It changes our relationship with ourselves, others, and the world around us. It opens us to the realization that we are never alone, that divine love and wisdom are always within us, guiding, protecting, and nurturing us. This oneness is not a distant goal, but a present reality, waiting to be embraced. The biblical foundation of oneness between God and humanity is a profound and recurring theme throughout Scripture, emphasizing the intimate relationship we share with our Creator. This oneness is not merely a philosophical or theological idea, it is deeply rooted in the Bible, offering us insights into our divine connection with God. Understanding this connection changes the way we view ourselves, our relationship with God, and our purpose in life. One of the most powerful affirmations of oneness is found in the words of Jesus in John 10:30, where He declares, "I and the Father are one." This statement holds immense significance in the Christian faith because Jesus, the Son of God, explicitly communicates the deep unity between Himself and God the Father. He was not suggesting a mere functional relationship, but a complete and divine oneness, Jesus being fully God and fully human. Exemplifies what it means to be one with God, a reality that we too are invited to embrace. In the same way, Jesus prayed for His followers to experience this oneness. In John 17:21, Jesus prays to the Father, saying, "That they all may be one, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us." This prayer is a plea for unity, not just among believers, but a spiritual oneness with God Himself. Jesus desired that His followers would experience the same unity with God that He experienced, a relationship where God's will and presence permeate our lives. This prayer reveals that oneness with God is not an exclusive gift for Christ alone, but is available to all who seek Him. The Bible also speaks of this oneness through the imagery of creation. In Genesis 1:27, we read that God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God He created them, male and female He created them. This verse tells us that humans are not separate from God, but are created in His image, reflecting His nature and essence. Being made in God's image implies that we carry within us a divine imprint, a spark of the divine that connects us directly to our Creator. This inherent connection is the foundation of our spiritual oneness with God. The Apostle Paul expands on the theme of oneness in his letters. In Galatians 2:20, Paul writes, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me." Paul emphasizes the indwelling presence of Christ in believers, showing that through Christ's sacrifice, we are united with God in a deeply personal and transformative way. This unity with Christ, who is one with the Father, extends to us, as we now share in the divine life through faith. Paul also emphasizes in 1 Corinthians 6:17, "But whoever is united with the Lord is one with him in spirit." This verse speaks to the spiritual union that occurs when we align ourselves with God, allowing His Spirit to dwell within us. The Holy Spirit is the connecting force that brings us into this unity with God, guiding and empowering us to live in accordance with His will. Throughout the Bible, the message is clear: God desires an intimate relationship with us, a unity so deep that we become one with Him. This oneness is not about losing our identity, but about finding our true identity in God. It is about living in harmony with His presence, His will, and His love. The biblical foundation of oneness invites us to embrace the divine connection we already possess, living out our lives as vessels of God's grace, purpose, and power. The idea of the divine within speaks to the profound belief that God is not only external, but that His presence resides within each of us. This concept is deeply rooted in both scripture and spiritual traditions, teaching that we are more than just physical beings navigating the challenges of life. We are spiritual beings, inherently connected to the divine. Recognizing the divine within means embracing the idea that God's essence, power, and love flow through us, shaping our identity and guiding our journey through life. In the Bible, this truth is first introduced in Genesis 1:27. Where we are told that humanity was created in the image of God. This verse holds significant implications for how we understand our relationship with the Creator. Being made in God's image suggests that we carry within us a reflection of His nature, His love, creativity, wisdom, and capacity for compassion. We are not separate from the divine, but are deeply interconnected with God in a way that transcends mere human understanding. The divine imprint is within us, and through it we have access to a deeper awareness of God's presence in our lives. Recognizing the divine within calls us to move beyond the perception that God is distant, watching over us from afar. Instead, it invites us to understand that God is present in the core of our being, guiding us from the inside out. In the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 3:16 reinforces this truth, stating, "Do you not know that you are a temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwells in you?" This verse is a powerful reminder that we are not only connected to God, but that His Spirit literally resides within us. Our bodies and souls become vessels of divine presence, and through that we have direct access to His wisdom, love, and guidance at all times. The divine within is not something we need to search for or earn. It is a part of who we are. However, many of us struggle to recognize this truth because we get caught up in the noise and distractions of the external world. We look for God in outward experiences or achievements, forgetting that His presence is already within us, waiting to be acknowledged. The journey of spiritual growth, then, is one of inward discovery, where we learn to quiet the mind, still the heart, and listen to the divine whisper within. Practices like prayer and meditation are tools that help us cultivate this awareness, allowing us to feel God's presence in every moment of our lives. Understanding the divine within also empowers us to live differently. When we recognize that God resides in us, we begin to see ourselves and others through a divine lens. We no longer view life's challenges as insurmountable because we realize that the power of God is already within us, ready to strengthen and uplift us. In moments of doubt or struggle, we can remind ourselves of this inner connection to the divine and draw upon His strength to persevere. It also shifts how we relate to others. Seeing the divine within ourselves teaches us to see the divine in others, fostering a sense of compassion, kindness, and love. We begin to understand that we are all interconnected, all part of God's creation, and worthy of respect and care. The divine within illuminates our true purpose. When we align ourselves with the divine presence inside, we gain clarity about who we are and what we are meant to do in this world. We are not random beings drifting through life. We are spiritual beings with a purpose, a mission to reflect God's love and light in all that we do. This understanding transforms our approach to life, leading us to live with greater intentionality, purpose, and joy. In recognizing the divine within, we awaken to a deeper truth: we are never alone, never without guidance, and never without love. God is with us, within us, and through us. This realization brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that we are part of something greater than ourselves. Embracing the divine within allows us to live more fully, love more deeply, and walk through life with the confidence that we are always connected to God, the source of all life and goodness. Experiencing God in daily life is not limited to moments of prayer, worship, or meditation. While these practices provide sacred space to connect with the divine, the presence of God is not confined to specific rituals or settings. He is constantly with us, in the midst of our everyday activities, and the key to experiencing Him more fully is cultivating a deeper awareness of His presence in all that we do. God's presence can be felt in the simplest of moments, such as the beauty of nature around us. Whether it's a sunrise painting the sky with brilliant colors, the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze, or the sound of rain falling softly, each element of creation reflects God's handiwork. The natural world is an ongoing testimony to His existence and glory, and by opening our hearts and minds, we can experience God in these seemingly ordinary moments. Instead of rushing through life, paying little attention to our surroundings, we can pause, take in the world around us, and feel the presence of the Creator who sustains it all. In our relationships with others, we also encounter God. Every human being is created in God's image, and interacting with people, whether friends, family, co-workers, or strangers, offers opportunities to see glimpses of the divine. Acts of kindness, compassion, and love are not just human virtues, they are reflections of God's nature. When we engage with others in these ways, we experience the presence of God through our connections and interactions. Jesus taught that loving one another is a way to fulfill God's commandments, and in doing so, we invite His presence into our lives. Simple acts of empathy, a kind word, a helping hand, or even a moment of patience can be infused with divine grace, transforming ordinary interactions into sacred experiences. Experiencing God in daily life also involves recognizing His hand in the challenges and difficulties we face. It's easy to feel God's presence during joyful moments, but He is just as present in times of trial. God doesn't abandon us when we struggle. Instead, He walks with us, offering guidance, strength, and comfort. When we face obstacles, we have the opportunity to lean into our faith and trust that God is working behind the scenes, even when we can't see the full picture. By maintaining an attitude of surrender and trust, we can experience His peace and wisdom, which help us navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. One of the most significant ways to experience God in daily life is through practicing gratitude. Gratitude opens our eyes to the many blessings around us that we may otherwise take for granted. When we develop the habit of thanking God for the small and big things in our lives, we shift our focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. Whether it's thanking Him for a good meal, a safe place to live, the support of loved ones, or even the ability to get through a tough day, gratitude brings us into a deeper awareness of God's generosity and love. This simple practice helps us recognize that every good thing comes from Him, and it draws us closer to His heart. Another way we experience God is through our work and daily tasks. While we may not always view our jobs or routines as spiritual endeavors, they can become opportunities to connect with the divine when done with the right mindset. By offering our work to God and approaching it with a spirit of service, we transform even mundane tasks into acts of worship. Colossians 3:23 reminds us, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Whether we are cooking a meal, writing an email, or cleaning the house, we can invite God's presence into every task, recognizing that we are serving Him through our efforts. Our thoughts and intentions also play a vital role in experiencing God daily. When we make an effort to focus our minds on things that are true, noble, and pure, we align ourselves with God's nature. Negative thinking, worry, and fear can cloud our ability to sense God's presence, but by renewing our minds with His truth, we open ourselves to His peace and joy. Philippians 4:8 encourages us to focus on whatever is excellent and praiseworthy, reminding us that our thought life directly impacts our connection to God. Experiencing God in daily life is about cultivating awareness and attentiveness to His constant presence. It's about slowing down, being mindful, and inviting Him into every part of our day, whether in the beauty of creation, the love of others, the challenges we face, the work we do, or the thoughts we think. God is not distant or absent, He is near, always ready to be experienced if we open our hearts to His presence. By doing so, we deepen our relationship with Him, finding joy, peace, and purpose in every moment of our lives. The power found in unity with God is one of the most transformative forces in a person's life. This divine union is not just a relationship but a profound partnership where human weakness meets divine strength and where limitations are transcended by the boundless power of God. In a world that often emphasizes independence and self-reliance, unity with God offers an alternative and intimate relationship in which we are empowered by a higher source that guides, supports, and strengthens us in every aspect of life. At the heart of this unity is the understanding that we are not alone. When we align ourselves with God, we are drawing upon a power far greater than our own. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles, they will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This scripture captures the essence of what it means to be united with God. Our strength is no longer dependent solely on our efforts. Instead, we are sustained and uplifted by the endless energy and love that flow from God in moments of exhaustion or despair. It is this divine power that refreshes our spirit and gives us the endurance to keep moving forward. Unity with God also brings clarity and purpose to our lives. So often people struggle with questions of identity and direction, unsure of where they are going or what their purpose is. But when we are united with God, we gain access to His wisdom, which lights the path before us. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. By seeking unity with God, we allow His will to align with our own, and in doing so, our purpose becomes clear. This clarity provides confidence and direction, empowering us to live with intention and faith. The power of unity with God extends beyond individual strength or guidance. It fundamentally transforms how we interact with the world. When we are connected to God, we become vessels for His love, grace, and compassion. This connection enables us to love others more deeply, to forgive more freely, and to serve more selflessly. The unity we experience with God spills over into our relationships with others, creating a ripple effect of positive change. John 15:5 offers a clear image of this relationship, where Jesus says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." When we remain united with God, our lives bear fruit, not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of others. The power of this unity extends beyond personal transformation, empowering us to impact the world around us. Through unity with God, we also gain access to the peace that surpasses all understanding. Life's challenges can often feel overwhelming, and the stress of uncertainty can weigh heavily on the heart. However, when we are united with God, we are no longer controlled by fear or anxiety. Philippians 4:6-7 assures us that by staying connected to God through prayer and trust, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace is not based on external circumstances, but on the steady assurance that God is with us. In times of trial, this unity becomes a source of calm and stability, allowing us to face difficulties with courage and grace. The power in unity with God is not a passive experience. It requires our active participation. God invites us into this partnership, but we must be willing to surrender our will and trust in His. This is not always easy, as it involves letting go of control and placing our faith in the unseen. Yet in doing so, we unlock the full power of unity with God. James 4:8 encourages us to draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. This closeness to God is not something distant or unattainable. It is an ongoing relationship that deepens with time, prayer, and intentionality. The more we seek God, the more His power is activated in our lives, transforming our hearts, minds, and actions. Letting go of the ego is a transformative process that allows us to live more authentically, peacefully, and connected with God and others. The ego is often seen as the false self, the part of us that is driven by pride, fear, and the need for validation. It clings to the idea that we must be separate, superior, or in control to find fulfillment. However, true spiritual growth and inner peace come not from inflating the ego, but from letting go of its grasp on our lives. The ego thrives on separation. It creates distinctions between ourselves and others, between us and God, and even between who we are and who we truly want to be. It is driven by the desire to stand out, to be better than others, to win at all costs, and to protect itself from vulnerability. This leads to conflict, insecurity, and a constant sense of unease. We find ourselves striving to maintain an image, seeking external validation, and fearing failure or rejection. However, by clinging to the ego's desires, we remain disconnected from our true essence and from God's presence in our lives. Letting go of the ego begins with the recognition that we are not our ego. The ego is a construct of the mind, built from our experiences, fears, and desires. But it is not the core of who we are. At our essence, we are spiritual beings created in God's image, connected to the divine and to one another. When we recognize this, we can begin to see that the ego's need for separation and superiority is an illusion. We are not in competition with others, and we do not need to constantly defend or prove ourselves. Instead, we are part of a larger whole, united by the love and grace of God. One of the key aspects of letting go of the ego is surrender. This is not the same as giving up, rather, it is a conscious choice to release the need for control, to trust in God's plan, and to live in alignment with His will. The ego resists surrender because it thrives on control, but true peace and fulfillment come when we stop trying to manipulate our circumstances and allow God to guide us. Proverbs 3:5-6 teaches us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Surrendering the ego means acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, but God does, and by trusting in Him, we can let go of the stress and anxiety that come from trying to manage everything on our own. Another vital step in letting go of the ego is practicing humility. The ego often pushes us to seek recognition and validation. But humility reminds us that our worth does not come from external achievements or others' opinions. It comes from being created and loved by God. Philippians 2:3 encourages us to do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Humility is not about thinking less of ourselves, it's about thinking of ourselves less. When we let go of the ego's need for attention and approval, we create space to serve others, to live with compassion, and to experience the joy of selfless love. Forgiveness is another powerful way to release the ego's hold on our lives. The ego clings to grudges, resentment, and the desire for revenge. It convinces us that by holding on to anger or hurt, we are protecting ourselves. However, this only keeps us trapped in a cycle of pain and separation. Ephesians 4:31-32 reminds us to get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Forgiveness is an act of liberation. It frees us from the chains of the past and allows us to move forward with peace and grace. Letting go of the ego means releasing the need to be right or to seek retribution, and instead choosing the path of love and understanding. Living without the ego also invites us to embrace vulnerability. The ego fears vulnerability because it sees it as weakness. But in reality, vulnerability is a sign of strength and courage. When we let go of the need to protect ourselves at all costs, we open our hearts to deeper connections with others and with God. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." It is in our moments of vulnerability that we can experience God's grace most profoundly, as we acknowledge our need for Him and allow His strength to fill our weaknesses. Letting go of the ego enables us to live with greater peace and joy. The ego constantly strives for more success, more recognition, more control, but it is never satisfied. When we release the ego, we find contentment in the present moment, in the simple joy of being alive and connected to God. We no longer need to chase after fleeting desires or external validation, because we understand that everything we need is already within us, provided by God's love and grace. Letting go of the ego is not a one-time event, but a continual practice. It requires mindfulness, self-awareness, and a commitment to spiritual growth. Yet, by loosening the ego's grip on our lives, we open ourselves to deeper peace, greater love, and a more profound connection to the divine and to others. Living from love and compassion transforms our daily lives and interactions, reflecting a deeper connection with others and with ourselves. This way of being is grounded in the understanding that love and compassion are not mere emotions, but powerful forces that shape our actions, relationships, and overall experience of life. When we choose to live from love and compassion, we align ourselves with the divine essence that unites all humanity, leading to a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. Love is the foundation of living a meaningful life. It transcends superficial expressions and dives deep into the core of our being. 1 John 4:7 states, "Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God." This verse emphasizes that love is not just an emotion, but a divine quality inherent in us when we are connected with God. By living from this divine love, we express compassion and empathy towards others, recognizing that they are also reflections of God's creation. This understanding fosters genuine connections, as our actions are motivated by a deep-seated recognition of the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Compassion is an extension of love in action. It involves more than feeling sympathy for someone's plight. It compels us to act in ways that alleviate suffering and bring comfort. Colossians 3:12 advises, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." Compassion is about stepping into another's shoes, seeing the world from their perspective, and responding with kindness and understanding. It requires us to be present, to listen deeply, and to offer support in whatever form is needed. This active engagement transforms our interactions, turning them into opportunities for healing and connection. Living from love and compassion also means embracing forgiveness. Holding on to grudges and resentment is antithetical to the principles of love and compassion. Matthew 6:14-15 instructs, "For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." Forgiveness is a profound act of love that releases the burden of anger and allows us to move forward with a lighter heart. It frees us from the chains of past hurts and enables us to build healthier, more loving relationships. By practicing forgiveness, we affirm our commitment to love and compassion, even in the face of hurt or betrayal. Living from love and compassion also involves extending kindness to ourselves. Often we are our own harshest critics, judging ourselves for our mistakes and shortcomings. However, self-compassion is crucial for our well-being. Mark 12:31 teaches, "Love your neighbor as yourself." This means that in order to love others effectively, we must first cultivate love and kindness towards ourselves. Self-compassion involves recognizing our own humanity, accepting our flaws, and treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend. By nurturing ourselves in this way, we are better equipped to extend love and compassion to others. Living from love and compassion requires us to challenge our biases and prejudices. True compassion means embracing and respecting diversity and recognizing the inherent value of every individual, regardless of their background or beliefs. Galatians 3:28 affirms, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." Embracing this perspective means actively working against discrimination and injustice, and fostering an inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Practicing love and compassion also transforms how we handle conflicts and challenges. When we approach difficulties from a place of love, we seek to understand rather than to win. This approach fosters reconciliation and constructive dialogue, as we are more focused on finding solutions that honor everyone involved rather than pursuing personal gain. Proverbs 15:1 teaches, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." By responding with gentleness and compassion, we de-escalate conflicts and create space for mutual respect and understanding. Living from love and compassion is not always easy. It requires conscious effort and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones. However, the rewards are profound. This way of living leads to deeper, more meaningful relationships, greater inner peace, and a sense of purpose and fulfillment. It aligns us with the divine qualities of love and compassion that are at the heart of God's nature, and enables us to contribute positively to the world around us. Prayer and meditation are profound pathways to spiritual growth, inner peace, and deeper connection with the divine. Both practices offer unique, yet complementary, methods for nurturing our spiritual lives and fostering a closer relationship with God. While prayer and meditation might seem similar in their aim of seeking divine connection, they each play distinct roles in our spiritual journey. Prayer is a direct communication with God. It is an act of speaking and listening, where we express our thoughts, feelings, gratitude, and requests. Through prayer, we engage in a conversation with the divine, sharing our deepest concerns and desires and seeking guidance, comfort, or intervention. The act of praying opens the lines of communication with God, allowing us to align our will with His and receive spiritual nourishment and direction. One of the key aspects of prayer is its personal nature. It is a means by which we can connect with God on a deeply intimate level. Philippians 4:6 encourages us to do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. This verse underscores the importance of bringing all our concerns to God in prayer, trusting that He listens and responds according to His will. Prayer is not just about asking for things, but also about developing a relationship with God, where we express our gratitude, seek His guidance, and align our hearts with His. Meditation, on the other hand, involves quieting the mind and focusing inward. It is a practice of stillness and contemplation that allows us to attune ourselves to the divine presence within us and around us. Psalm 46:10 states, "Be still and know that I am God." Meditation is an opportunity to enter into this stillness, to let go of external distractions, and to experience a deeper awareness of God's presence. It helps us to center ourselves and to cultivate a sense of peace and clarity. The practice of meditation often involves focusing on a particular thought, verse, or image related to God. This could include reflecting on a scripture, visualizing divine love, or simply being present in the silence. Through meditation, we open ourselves to receive divine insights, guidance, inspiration. It is a way to deepen our understanding of spiritual truths and to experience a profound sense of connection with the divine. Both prayer and meditation can lead to significant spiritual and personal growth. Prayer helps us to articulate our spiritual needs and desires, while meditation enables us to listen more deeply and to receive divine guidance. Together, they create a balanced spiritual practice that nurtures both our speaking and listening relationship with God. The integration of prayer and meditation into daily life can profoundly impact our well-being and spiritual journey. Establishing a regular practice of prayer helps us to maintain a continual dialogue with God, ensuring that we remain connected to His presence throughout our day. It helps us to cultivate a habit of gratitude, seeking guidance and aligning our lives with divine will. Incorporating meditation into our routine allows us to create space for inner reflection and stillness. It helps us to manage stress, develop greater self-awareness, and experience a deeper sense of peace. Meditation can be particularly valuable in moments of uncertainty or distress, offering us a place of calm where we can reconnect with our inner spiritual core and find solace. The synergy between prayer and meditation can be further enhanced by using them together in a complementary manner. For example, one might start a meditation session with a short prayer, seeking divine presence and guidance, and then move into a period of silent contemplation. Alternatively, after meditating, one might engage in prayer, expressing gratitude and seeking insights gained during meditation. This integrated approach can lead to a richer and more dynamic spiritual practice. Prayer and meditation serve as vital pathways to experiencing a deeper connection with God. Prayer engages us in active dialogue, allowing us to communicate our needs and desires, while meditation invites us into a space of quiet reflection and divine presence. By cultivating both practices, we enhance our spiritual journey, finding greater peace, clarity, and alignment with the divine. Living from love and compassion transforms our daily interactions and the way we experience the world. It requires a shift in perspective from self-centeredness to a broader, more inclusive way of being, where our actions and attitudes are guided by a deep-seated understanding of our interconnectedness with others. This way of living is not just about performing acts of kindness, but embodying a fundamental orientation towards others that reflects the divine nature of love and compassion. Love is the essence of a life lived fully. It is more than an emotion or fleeting sentiment. It is a profound force that shapes our actions, decisions, and relationships. In the Christian context, love is often seen as a divine attribute that reflects God's nature. 1 John 4:8 states, "Whoever does not love does not know God. Because God is love," this verse underscores that to truly know God is to live in love. It is through love that we connect with others on a deep level, transcending superficial differences and embracing the shared humanity that binds us together. Living from love means making choices that reflect this divine quality, treating others with kindness, respect, and empathy. Compassion, closely related to love, is the active expression of our empathy for others. It involves recognizing the suffering of others and taking steps to alleviate it. Colossians 3:12 calls us to clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Compassion is not just about feeling sympathy for someone's struggles, it is about engaging with their pain in a meaningful way and offering support or relief. This active engagement requires us to be present with others, to listen deeply, and to act with kindness and understanding. By embodying compassion, we contribute to creating a more empathetic and supportive community. Living from love and compassion also involves a profound sense of humility. Humility allows us to see others not as rivals or competitors, but as fellow travelers on the path of life. Philippians 2:3 advises us to do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. This means recognizing that our worth is not determined by our achievements or status, but by our shared humanity. When we live from a place of humility, we are less focused on our own needs and more attuned to the needs of others. This perspective fosters deeper connections and more meaningful relationships as we approach others with respect and openness. Forgiveness is a critical aspect of living from love and compassion. It involves letting go of resentment and the desire for revenge, which can hinder our ability to love and empathize. Matthew 6:14-15 teaches us, "For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." Forgiveness is an act of liberation that frees us from the burdens of anger and bitterness. It allows us to move forward with a lighter heart and to build healthier, more loving relationships. By practicing forgiveness, we align ourselves with God's grace and open ourselves to experiencing deeper love and compassion. Living from love and compassion also means extending kindness to ourselves. Often we are our own harshest critics, judging ourselves for our perceived shortcomings. However, Mark 12:31 reminds us to love your neighbor as yourself. This principle applies to how we treat ourselves. Self-compassion involves accepting our flaws and treating ourselves with kindness and understanding. By nurturing our own well-being, we are better equipped to extend love and compassion to others. Self-kindness creates a foundation for healthier relationships and a more balanced approach to life. Living from love and compassion requires us to confront and challenge our biases and prejudice. True compassion involves embracing diversity and recognizing the inherent worth of every individual, regardless of their background or beliefs. Galatians 3:28 emphasizes the equality of all people in Christ. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Embracing this perspective means actively working against discrimination and injustice and fostering an inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and respected. Practicing love and compassion also influences how we handle conflicts and challenges. Approaching difficulties from a place of love means seeking to understand rather than to win. Proverbs 15:1 advises, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." By responding with gentleness and empathy, we de-escalate conflicts and create space for mutual respect and resolution. This approach fosters healthier interactions and promotes a more harmonious environment. Living from love and compassion is a continuous practice that requires mindfulness and intentionality. It involves making a conscious effort to align our actions and attitudes with these core values. By doing so, we enhance our relationships, contribute positively to our communities, and create a more loving and compassionate world. Through love and compassion, we connect more deeply with others, experience greater fulfillment, and live in harmony with the divine essence that pervades all existence. Imagine waking up every morning and knowing with every fiber of your being that you are the best, that no one is better than you. Not in a boastful or arrogant way, but in a way that ignites the fire within you. You walk into a room not to blend in, but to shine. Your energy demands attention, and your confidence becomes your most powerful asset. This is not just wishful thinking, it's a mindset, a way of life that can transform everything. Self-confidence is the foundation of success. It is the invisible force that drives you forward, pushing you to take risks, face challenges, and pursue your dreams. Without it, even the most talented individuals can find themselves stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, missing out on opportunities because they don't believe they deserve them. Confidence is more than just a feeling, it's an attitude, a mindset, and a way of life. It shapes how you see yourself, how others see you, and ultimately how successful you become. When you have self-confidence, you're willing to take bold steps toward your goals, even when the path is uncertain. Confidence gives you the courage to face challenges head-on, knowing that you have the strength and ability to overcome them. It's the belief that no matter what obstacles arise, you can handle them and come out stronger on the other side. This belief fuels your actions, encouraging you to move forward when others might hesitate. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate over time. It grows with experience, learning, and the willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. Every time you achieve something, no matter how small, your confidence grows. Each victory, each step forward, adds another layer of belief in yourself and your abilities. And with every failure, there's an opportunity to learn and grow, further reinforcing your confidence in your capacity to succeed. One of the most powerful aspects of self-confidence is its ability to change the way you view challenges. Without confidence, challenges can seem overwhelming, even impossible to overcome. They become roadblocks that stop you in your tracks. But with confidence, challenges are opportunities, chances to grow, to learn, and to prove to yourself just how capable you are. Instead of fearing failure, you begin to see it as a necessary part of the journey towards success. You understand that every setback is a stepping stone, and each one brings you closer to your ultimate goal. Confidence also impacts the way you set goals. When you believe in yourself, you set bigger, bolder goals. You're not afraid to dream big because you trust that you have the skills, the determination, and the resilience to achieve what you set out to do. Without confidence, you might settle for less, thinking that you're not capable of more. But when you have self-confidence, you refuse to play small. You know that you are capable of greatness, and you're willing to put in the effort to achieve it. Another crucial aspect of self-confidence is how it influences the way others see you. People are naturally drawn to confidence. It's magnetic. When you carry yourself with self-assurance, others are more likely to trust you, to believe in your abilities, and to support you in your endeavors. Confidence opens doors because it makes people want to be part of what you're doing. They see your belief in yourself, and it makes them believe in you too. But confidence is not just about outward appearances. It's not about pretending to be something you're not or putting on a show. True confidence comes from within. It's a deep, unshakable belief in your worth and your abilities. It's the quiet assurance that you are enough, just as you are. This type of confidence doesn't need validation from others because it's rooted in self-acceptance and self-love. When you have true confidence, you're not afraid to take risks because you're not afraid of failure. You understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth, it's simply part of the process of growth. You know that every time you fail, you learn something valuable that will help you in the future. This mindset frees you from the fear of making mistakes and allows you to take the kinds of risks that lead to success. Confidence also plays a vital role in resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when you have self-confidence, you're able to bounce back from those tough moments more quickly. You don't let a single failure define you because you know that you're capable of bouncing back. You trust that you have what it takes to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. This resilience is what separates those who give up from those who succeed. Building self-confidence is not always easy, especially if you've experienced setbacks or if you've been surrounded by negativity. But the good news is that confidence can be developed, regardless of where you start. It begins with small steps. It starts by acknowledging your strengths and celebrating your successes, no matter how small they may seem. Each time you recognize your accomplishments, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and deserving of success. Another way to build confidence is through self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on how you feel about yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, or that you don't deserve success, then that's what you'll believe. But if you shift your self-talk to something more positive, if you start telling yourself that you are capable, that you are strong, and that you deserve success, you'll start to believe it. Over time, this positive self-talk will become a habit, and your confidence will grow. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is also key to building self-confidence. The people you spend time with can either lift you up or drag you down. If you're surrounded by negativity, it's going to be much harder to feel confident. But if you surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, and who celebrate your successes, your confidence will grow. These positive influences will remind you of your worth and help you stay focused on your goals. At its core, self-confidence is about trusting yourself. It's about believing that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's about knowing that you are worthy of success and that you have what it takes to achieve your goals. This trust in yourself is what will carry you through the ups and downs of life and ultimately lead you to success. In a world full of challenges and competition, self-confidence is the edge that sets you apart. It's what gives you the strength to pursue your dreams, even when the odds are against you. It's what keeps you going when others would give up. It's what allows you to take risks, embrace failure, and continue moving forward no matter what. Perception shapes reality. It's a simple yet profound concept that affects every aspect of our lives, from our personal experiences to our relationships and our success. How we perceive the world, ourselves, and others has the power to create our reality. It influences our thoughts, actions, and reactions. What we believe to be true about ourselves and the world around us often becomes our reality, not because it's an absolute truth, but because our minds make it so. Our perception is the lens through which we view life. This lens is shaped by our past experiences, beliefs, values, and emotions. It filters everything we encounter, coloring our interpretation of events, interactions, and even our own capabilities. If we see the world through a lens of fear or scarcity, we'll perceive challenges as insurmountable and opportunities as scarce. But if we view life through a lens of possibility and abundance, challenges become stepping stones and opportunities seem to appear everywhere. This idea that perception shapes reality can be seen in how different people experience the same situation in entirely different ways. Two people might go through identical circumstances, yet their reactions and outcomes could be completely different based on how they perceive the situation. One person might see a challenge as a threat and feel defeated, while the other sees the same challenge as an opportunity for growth and feels motivated. The difference lies not in the situation itself, but in their perception of it. One of the most powerful aspects of perception is that it's malleable. While we often think that our view of the world is fixed, it's actually shaped by our thoughts and beliefs, and we can change it. By shifting our perception, we can transform our reality. This is because our thoughts create our feelings influence our actions, and our actions shape our outcomes. If we change the way we think about something, we can change the way we feel and act, which ultimately changes what we experience in life. For example, if you perceive yourself as incapable of achieving success, you are likely to feel discouraged and unmotivated. These feelings will lead you to take fewer actions toward your goals, or you might give up easily when faced with obstacles. As a result, you'll experience failure, which reinforces your belief that you're not capable of success. This cycle can continue indefinitely unless you change your perception. If you start to see yourself as capable and deserving of success, you'll feel more confident and motivated. You'll take more action, persist through challenges, and eventually achieve success, which reinforces your new perception. This is why mindset is so critical to personal growth and success. When we shift our perception from a limiting mindset to an empowering one, we unlock our potential. Instead of seeing limitations, we start to see possibilities. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, we start to focus on what's right. This shift in perception creates a ripple effect that transforms our actions and ultimately our reality. One of the greatest examples of how perception shapes reality is found in the placebo effect. In medical studies, patients who believe they are receiving a treatment often experience real improvements in their condition, even when they are given a placebo treatment that has no active ingredients. This phenomenon occurs because their perception that they are receiving a treatment alters their body's response. Their belief in the treatment's effectiveness creates a physical change in their health. This demonstrates the power of perception to influence even our physical reality. Changing our perception requires self-awareness. We must first recognize the thoughts and beliefs that are shaping our reality, especially those that are limiting us. Often we hold on to negative perceptions without realizing it. These negative perceptions may come from past experiences, societal conditioning, or even fear. But once we become aware of them, we have the power to challenge and change them. One way to shift perception is by practicing positive thinking and reframing. Reframing is the practice of looking at a situation from a different perspective. It's about finding a more empowering way to view challenges, setbacks, or even our own limitations. Instead of seeing a failure as proof that we're not good enough, we can reframe it as a learning experience that brings us closer to success. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or being overly optimistic. It means choosing to focus on possibilities and solutions rather than obstacles and problems. For example, imagine you lose a job. A negative perception might lead you to believe that you are not capable, that you will never find a better opportunity, and that the situation is hopeless. These thoughts could cause you to feel anxious, defeated, and even paralyzed by fear, making it difficult to take the steps necessary to move forward. But if you reframe the situation, you could perceive it as an opportunity to pursue something more aligned with your passions, or to develop new skills and grow. This shift in perception changes the way you feel about the situation, making you more motivated and hopeful, which in turn will lead to positive actions like updating your resume, networking, or seeking new opportunities. Another method of shifting perception is through gratitude. Gratitude changes the way we see our lives by focusing our attention on what is going well, rather than what is lacking. When we practice gratitude regularly, it shifts our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. We begin to see the world as full of opportunities, rather than focusing on what we don't have. This shift in perception creates a sense of contentment and positivity, which enhances our overall well-being and success. The stories we tell ourselves about our lives, abilities, and potential also play a significant role in shaping our perception. If we tell ourselves a story of victimhood where life happens to us, and we have no control over the outcome, we're likely to feel powerless. But if we tell ourselves a story of empowerment, where we have agency over our lives and can create the reality we desire, we're more likely to feel capable and in control. The stories we repeat in our minds can either limit us or empower us, depending on the narrative we choose to adopt. It's important to note that perception is not always rooted in objective truth. We often interpret situations based on incomplete information, biases, or assumptions. This can lead to distorted perceptions that don't accurately reflect reality. For instance, we might perceive someone's silence as disinterest or hostility when, in reality, they might just be shy or preoccupied with their own thoughts. Recognizing that our perception isn't always an accurate reflection of reality is crucial, because it allows us to question our assumptions and see situations from a broader perspective. The power of perception also extends to collective beliefs. Entire societies are shaped by shared perceptions, beliefs about what's possible, what's valuable, and what's important. These shared perceptions influence everything from politics to culture, and they often create self-fulfilling prophecies. For example, in a society that values hard work and perseverance, individuals may be more likely to achieve success because they are conditioned to believe that effort leads to positive outcomes. On the other hand, in a society that promotes scarcity or fear, people may limit themselves because they've internalized the belief that opportunities are few and far between. The relationship between perception and reality is dynamic. While perception shapes reality, the reality we experience also influences our perception. This feedback loop means that our beliefs and experiences are constantly reinforcing each other. If we perceive the world in a positive light, we are likely to create a positive reality, which then strengthens our positive perception. Conversely, if we perceive the world through a lens of negativity, we might create a negative reality which reinforces our pessimistic views. This cycle can be broken, but it requires conscious effort to shift our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. Comparison is the thief of joy. This simple yet powerful phrase reflects a universal truth. The moment we start comparing ourselves to others, we rob ourselves of happiness and contentment. In today's world, where social media and societal pressures constantly encourage us to measure our worth against others, this idea has never been more relevant. Comparison, when left unchecked, can lead to feelings of inadequacy, dissatisfaction, and even resentment. It prevents us from appreciating our unique journey and undermines the joy we can find in our own accomplishments and experiences. At the heart of comparison lies a sense of inadequacy. When we compare ourselves to others, we tend to focus on what we perceive as their strengths or successes, and we overlook our own. We see their achievements, talents, or possessions, and rather than feeling inspired, we often feel lacking in some way. This perception can be deeply damaging because it fosters the belief that we are not enough as we are, that we need to be more like someone else to be worthy, successful, or happy. But the reality is that each person's journey is different, shaped by unique circumstances, experiences, and talents. Comparing ourselves to others is like comparing apples to oranges. Every individual's path is distinct, and trying to measure our worth based on someone else's success will always leave us feeling empty. One of the major issues with comparison is that it's usually based on incomplete information. We often compare our own struggles and insecurities with the highlight reel of someone else's life. Social media, for example, presents a curated version of reality. People tend to share their best moments, their successes, happy memories, and achievements while hiding their struggles, failures, and difficulties. When we compare our everyday reality with all its ups and downs to the carefully edited lives we see online, it's easy to feel like we're falling short. But what we're not seeing are the challenges, setbacks, and hardships that others face. The truth is, everyone has struggles, and no one's life is as perfect as it may appear on the surface. Comparison can also lead to a mindset of scarcity. When we compare ourselves to others, we begin to think that there is only a limited amount of success, happiness, or fulfillment to go around. We might feel that if someone else has achieved something, there's less available for us. This scarcity mindset creates unnecessary competition and can breed resentment or jealousy. In reality, success and happiness are not finite resources. One person's success does not take away from another's potential for success. There is enough room for everyone to flourish, and celebrating someone else's accomplishments does not diminish our own. Comparison distracts us from our own progress. When we are constantly focused on what others are doing, we lose sight of our own path. Instead of appreciating how far we've come, we get caught up in where we think we should be based on someone else's journey. This can lead to frustration and dissatisfaction, even if we're making significant progress in our own lives. The reality is that everyone moves at their own pace, and progress looks different for everyone. What matters most is our own growth, not how we measure up to someone else's standards or achievements. The harmful effects of comparison extend beyond just our feelings of inadequacy. It can also lead to diminished motivation and self-esteem. When we constantly compare ourselves to others and come up short, we may start to believe that we're not capable or worthy of success. This negative self-perception can sap our motivation to pursue our goals and dreams. Instead of feeling empowered to take action, we might feel discouraged, thinking, "What's the point? I'll never be as successful as that person." This mindset can create a vicious cycle where comparison leads to inaction, which then reinforces feelings of inadequacy. On the flip side, comparison can sometimes lead to arrogance or a false sense of superiority. When we compare ourselves to others and believe we're doing better, it can inflate our ego and make us feel superior. This mindset is just as harmful because it distances us from humility and personal growth. Instead of focusing on how we can improve and continue to grow, we might become complacent or even look down on others. True fulfillment doesn't come from feeling superior to others, it comes from personal development and finding joy in our own journey. So how do we break free from the trap of comparison? The first step is cultivating self-awareness. We need to recognize when we're falling into the habit of comparing ourselves to others and consciously shift our focus. Instead of measuring our worth against someone else's accomplishments, we can focus on our own growth and progress. One effective way to do this is by practicing gratitude. When we focus on the things we're grateful for in our own lives, we're less likely to feel envious or dissatisfied. Gratitude helps us see the abundance in our lives rather than focusing on what we perceive as lacking. Another important step is to celebrate our own unique journey. Each person's path is different, and comparing ourselves to others diminishes the beauty of our own experience. We all have different strengths, challenges, and opportunities. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we can set our own goals and measure our success based on our personal growth and progress. When we focus on our own journey, we become more empowered and fulfilled, because we're no longer looking to others for validation. It's also helpful to shift our mindset from competition to collaboration. Instead of seeing others as competitors, we can view them as sources of inspiration or learning. Someone else's success can motivate us to work harder or explore new possibilities, rather than making us feel inadequate. By adopting a mindset of abundance, we recognize that there's enough success, happiness, and fulfillment for everyone. When we support and celebrate others, we open ourselves up to more joy and connection, rather than isolation and envy. Practicing self-compassion is key to breaking free from the cycle of comparison. We need to be kind to ourselves, especially when we're feeling vulnerable or insecure. It's natural to compare ourselves to others from time to time, but we don't have to let those comparisons define our worth. By treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, we can build resilience and strengthen our sense of self-worth. Self-compassion reminds us that we are enough, just as we are, and that our value doesn't depend on how we measure up to others. Positive self-talk fuels inner power in a profound way. Our thoughts and internal dialogue significantly shape our emotions, actions, and ultimately our lives. What we say to ourselves, whether consciously or unconsciously, has a direct impact on our mental and emotional state. Positive self-talk, or the practice of speaking to oneself in an encouraging, supportive, and empowering way, is a tool that can help build resilience, increase self-esteem, and unlock our inner strength. By changing the way we talk to ourselves, we can shift our mindset, overcome challenges, and create a more fulfilling and purposeful life. The mind is incredibly powerful, and it's always listening to what we say to ourselves. Whether we realize it or not, the words we use in our self-talk influence our belief system. When we engage in positive self-talk, we are essentially training our mind to believe in our abilities, strengths, and potential. This is crucial because our beliefs shape our actions. If we believe we are capable of achieving something, we are more likely to put in the effort and persist through challenges. On the other hand, negative self-talk creates self-doubt, which can lead to procrastination, fear, and giving up when things get difficult. Positive self-talk acts as a form of self-coaching. Imagine having a coach or mentor who constantly supports you, reassures you, and helps you see your strengths. This is the role positive self-talk can play in our lives. When we tell ourselves that we are capable, resilient, and deserving of success, we create a mental environment where we can thrive. This inner dialogue serves as a source of encouragement, especially during difficult times, when it's easy to fall into a negative mindset. Instead of letting doubt or fear take over, positive self-talk helps us focus on possibilities, solutions, and personal growth. One of the most significant ways positive self-talk fuels inner power is by reducing the impact of fear and self-doubt. Fear and doubt are natural emotions that everyone experiences, but they can become debilitating if left unchecked. When faced with a challenge or new opportunity, it's common to hear that inner voice saying things like, "What if I fail?" or "I'm not good enough to do this." These negative thoughts create mental barriers that can prevent us from taking action. Positive self-talk helps counteract these thoughts by reframing them in a more constructive way. Instead of saying, "I might fail," we can tell ourselves, "Even if I don't succeed, I'll learn something valuable." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," we can remind ourselves, "I have the skills and determination to figure this out." This shift in perspective helps to neutralize the power that fear and doubt have over us. Positive self-talk doesn't eliminate challenges or guarantee success, but it helps us approach situations with a mindset that is focused on growth and learning rather than perfection or fear of failure. By doing this, we're able to take more risks, try new things, and push ourselves beyond our comfort zones where true personal growth happens. Another key aspect of positive self-talk is its ability to boost self-confidence. Confidence is an essential ingredient for success, and it comes from believing in one's abilities. Positive self-talk reinforces this belief. When we consistently tell ourselves that we are competent, capable, and deserving, our self-image improves, and we start to act in alignment with that belief. For example, if you repeatedly tell yourself, "I am confident in my ability to speak in front of others," over time, your mind will accept this as a truth, and you'll begin to feel and act more confidently in public speaking situations. The power of positive self-talk lies in its repetition. The more we engage in positive affirmations and supportive self-dialogue, the more it becomes a natural part of our thought process. Just as negative self-talk can become an ingrained habit that damages our self-esteem, positive self-talk can become a habit that strengthens it. Over time, this practice helps us build a resilient mindset, one that is better equipped to handle life's inevitable challenges. Positive self-talk also plays a critical role in maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Our thoughts directly influence our emotions, and when we engage in negative self-talk, we are more likely to feel anxious, stressed, or depressed. Positive self-talk helps to break this cycle by promoting a healthier, more constructive way of thinking. When we speak to ourselves with kindness, encouragement, and compassion, we create a mental space where positive emotions like happiness, gratitude, and peace can flourish. This doesn't mean we ignore difficult emotions or pretend everything is perfect, rather. We approach challenges with a balanced and supportive mindset, which helps us navigate difficult situations more effectively. Positive self-talk is an essential tool for overcoming setbacks and building resilience. Life is full of challenges, and no matter how hard we try, things won't always go according to plan. In these moments, our inner dialogue becomes particularly important. When we experience failure or disappointment, it's easy to fall into a negative mindset, blaming ourselves or feeling hopeless. However, positive self-talk helps us reframe setbacks as opportunities for growth. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, we can focus on what we can learn and how we can move forward. This shift in perspective allows us to bounce back from setbacks more quickly and with a renewed sense of purpose. For example, consider an athlete who has just lost an important game. Negative self-talk might sound like, "I'm terrible at this. I'll never be good enough," but positive self-talk would sound more like, "This was a tough loss, but I've learned a lot, and I know I can improve for the next game." The latter approach is far more empowering because it focuses on growth, learning, and the potential for future success. By practicing positive self-talk in moments of adversity, we build the resilience needed to keep going, even when things get tough. It's important to note that positive self-talk isn't about ignoring reality or engaging in blind optimism. It's about finding a balanced, constructive way to approach life's challenges. Positive self-talk acknowledges difficulties but chooses to focus on solutions and personal growth rather than getting stuck in negativity. It helps us maintain a sense of control and agency in our lives, even when we can't control the external circumstances around us. In addition to boosting self-confidence and resilience, positive self-talk helps us cultivate a mindset of self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, and the way we talk to ourselves can be far more negative and judgmental than how we would ever speak to someone else. Positive self-talk encourages us to be kinder and more forgiving toward ourselves. It reminds us that we are human, that we will make mistakes, and that we are worthy of love and acceptance despite our imperfections. This self-compassion is crucial for long-term mental and emotional well-being. When we treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, we create a solid foundation of inner strength that fuels our personal growth. Taking ownership of your journey is one of the most empowering decisions you can make in life. It means accepting full responsibility for your actions, decisions, and the outcomes they produce. Rather than attributing success or failure to external circumstances or blaming others for setbacks, taking ownership means recognizing that you are in control of your path, your growth, and ultimately your destiny. It's about embracing your power to shape your future, make intentional choices, and rise above challenges with resilience and determination. At its core, taking ownership of your journey is about recognizing that life is not something that merely happens to you. Instead, you are an active participant capable of steering the direction of your life. This doesn't mean that you can control everything. Many factors in life are beyond your influence, but it does mean that how you respond to circumstances is entirely within your control. It's easy to get caught up in a victim mentality, where external forces like other people's actions, societal expectations, or unfortunate events seem to dictate the course of your life. However, when you take ownership, you shift your mindset from one of passivity to one of agency. You acknowledge that while challenges are inevitable, how you choose to react, learn, and grow from them is entirely up to you. Taking ownership of your journey begins with self-awareness. It requires a deep understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, values, and desires. Self-awareness allows you to make decisions that align with your true self rather than decisions driven by external pressures or fleeting emotions. This process often involves reflecting on your past choices, evaluating their outcomes, and understanding what motivated those decisions. Through this reflection, you can identify patterns that have either served or hindered your growth. Once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin to take conscious steps toward changing behaviors or mindsets that no longer serve you. One of the biggest challenges in taking ownership of your journey is overcoming the tendency to blame others or external factors for your circumstances. Blame is a form of self-protection. It allows us to avoid confronting our own shortcomings or mistakes by shifting the responsibility onto someone else. However, blame is also disempowering. When you place responsibility for your life in the hands of others, you relinquish your power to create change. Taking ownership means letting go of blame and accepting that, while other people or situations may have influenced your circumstances, you have the ability to choose how to respond and move forward. This doesn't mean that you should ignore or dismiss the role that external forces can play in your life. For example, systemic issues, societal expectations, and personal hardships can all create significant challenges that are beyond your immediate control. However, taking ownership means acknowledging these realities while also recognizing that you have the power to navigate them. It's about finding the balance between understanding the external forces at play and realizing that your internal responses are what will ultimately shape your journey. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret those events, the lessons you draw from them, and the actions you take in response. Another important aspect of taking ownership is the ability to hold yourself accountable. Accountability is the willingness to take responsibility for both your successes and your failures. It involves being honest with yourself about where you've fallen short and where you've excelled. When things don't go as planned, it can be tempting to make excuses or rationalize why it wasn't your fault. However, this mindset prevents growth. By owning your mistakes and acknowledging where you could have done better, you open the door to learning and improvement. Holding yourself accountable also means recognizing your successes and giving yourself credit for the hard work, dedication, and persistence that led to positive outcomes. It's important to celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, because they are a reflection of your ability to take ownership of your journey. Taking ownership also means embracing change and uncertainty. Life is constantly evolving, and the path you envision for yourself may not always unfold as expected. Instead of resisting change or clinging to a rigid plan, taking ownership means being adaptable and willing to pivot when necessary. It's about recognizing that your journey may take unexpected turns, but each detour presents an opportunity for growth. When you take ownership, you develop the resilience needed to face uncertainty with confidence, knowing that you have the inner resources to navigate whatever comes your way. One of the most empowering aspects of taking ownership of your journey is that it frees you from the need for external validation. When you take full responsibility for your life, you no longer rely on others to define your worth, success, or happiness. You become the author of your own story, and you set your own standards for what success looks like. This doesn't mean you reject feedback or ignore the advice of others, but it does mean that you prioritize your own values, goals, and desires over the expectations of others. You stop living for the approval of others and start living in alignment with your authentic self. This sense of autonomy is incredibly liberating because it allows you to pursue a life that is truly meaningful and fulfilling to you. Taking ownership of your journey also requires a strong sense of self-discipline. When you take responsibility for your life, you commit to making intentional choices that align with your long-term goals. This often means sacrificing short-term comfort or pleasure for the sake of long-term growth. It's easy to get distracted by immediate gratification or external pressures, but when you take ownership, you stay focused on what truly matters. You set goals, create action plans, and follow through with consistency and dedication. Self-discipline is the fuel that keeps you moving forward, even when the path is difficult or unclear. In addition to self-discipline, taking ownership requires a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. When you take ownership of your journey, you embrace challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as obstacles to avoid. You understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a stepping stone on the path to success. With a growth mindset, you are willing to take risks, try new things, and step outside of your comfort zone, because you know that each experience, whether positive or negative, contributes to your growth. Taking ownership of your journey is not about striving for perfection. It's about progress. It's about recognizing that you are a work in progress, and that every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your goals. It's about being patient with yourself and understanding that growth takes time. There will be setbacks, detours, and moments of doubt along the way, but when you take ownership, you stay committed to the process. You trust that, with persistence and self-compassion, you will continue to evolve and move forward. Confidence is a magnet for opportunities. When you exude confidence, you not only enhance your ability to take on challenges, but also invite possibilities that may not have come your way otherwise. Confidence is more than just a belief in yourself, it's an attitude, a way of carrying yourself that signals to others that you are ready and capable. Opportunities, whether in relationships, career, or personal growth, tend to gravitate toward those who demonstrate self-assurance because they radiate positivity, competence, and the ability to take action. Attracting opportunities through confidence begins with developing a strong sense of self, and it grows as you actively engage with the world around you. At its core, confidence starts with self-belief. It's the internal conviction that you have the skills, knowledge, and resilience to face whatever life presents. When you believe in yourself, it's reflected in how you communicate, interact with others, and approach your goals. Others pick up on this energy, and they are more likely to see you as someone worth investing in, whether that investment is time, resources, or a chance to prove yourself. People are naturally drawn to those who believe in their own potential, because confidence instills a sense of trust and reliability. If you're confident in your abilities, others are likely to believe in you too. Confidence is also crucial in how you present yourself to the world. Body language, tone of voice, and the way you carry yourself all convey a message to those around you. When you stand tall, make eye contact, and speak with clarity and conviction, you demonstrate confidence without saying a word. This non-verbal communication is powerful because it signals that you are not only prepared but also open to new opportunities. People want to work with individuals who appear capable and assertive because they exude the competence needed to handle challenges and deliver results. Confidence in your body language creates an aura of readiness and competence that attracts opportunities because people perceive you as someone who can add value. One of the key ways confidence attracts opportunities is through risk-taking. When you believe in yourself, you're more willing to step outside of your comfort zone and seize opportunities that others might shy away from. Whether it's applying for a new job, starting a business, or taking on a leadership role, confidence allows you to push through fear and uncertainty. This willingness to take calculated risks is often what sets successful people apart. They understand that opportunities rarely come without some degree of risk, and they have the self-assurance to pursue them regardless. By stepping forward in situations that others may find intimidating, confident people open themselves up to possibilities that may have otherwise been missed. Confidence also influences how others perceive your potential. When you approach challenges with confidence, people are more likely to see you as a leader. Leadership is often associated with confidence because a leader must be willing to make decisions, take responsibility, and guide others toward a goal. Whether you're in a professional setting or a personal one, displaying confidence in your abilities makes others trust your judgment and follow your lead. Opportunities often come to those who are seen as capable of handling responsibility, and confidence is the key to being perceived as such. When you project confidence, you signal to others that you are ready to step into bigger roles and take on greater challenges. Confidence opens doors by helping you build relationships. Networking and forming connections are essential to attracting opportunities in any area of life, and confidence plays a major role in this process. When you approach others with confidence, you make a strong first impression. People are drawn to those who exude positive energy and self-assurance because they feel inspired and motivated by that presence. Confident individuals are more likely to engage in conversations, ask questions, and share their ideas, which helps them build rapport with others. These connections often lead to opportunities, whether it's a job offer, a business partnership, or a mentor-mentee relationship. People want to surround themselves with confident individuals who can contribute value and are open to collaboration. Confidence also encourages you to be proactive in seeking out opportunities rather than waiting for them to come to you. When you have faith in your abilities, you take the initiative to pursue your goals. Whether it's reaching out to potential collaborators, pitching ideas, or asking for promotions, confidence drives you to act. Opportunities rarely come to those who sit back and wait, they come to those who are willing to go after what they want. Confidence empowers you to advocate for yourself and take the steps necessary to create the future you envision. This proactive mindset is essential for attracting opportunities because it shows that you are not only capable but also willing to take the lead in creating your own success. In addition to attracting external opportunities, confidence plays a vital role in fostering internal growth. When you believe in yourself, you are more likely to take on challenges that help you develop new skills and expand your horizons. Confidence pushes you to strive for more and not settle for mediocrity. This internal drive for growth leads to personal and professional development, which in turn makes you more attractive to opportunities. As you continue to grow and expand your abilities, you position yourself as someone who can handle larger responsibilities and more complex tasks. This creates a cycle of growth where confidence attracts opportunities and opportunities further build your confidence. Another important aspect of confidence is its role in overcoming setbacks. Everyone faces challenges and failures along their journey, but it is confidence that allows you to bounce back and keep moving forward. When you have confidence, you understand that setbacks are temporary and do not define your worth or potential. This resilience is critical in attracting opportunities because it shows that you are not easily deterred by difficulties. People are more likely to offer opportunities to those who demonstrate perseverance and determination in the face of adversity. Confidence enables you to maintain a positive attitude, even when things don't go as planned, and this optimism is attractive to those who may offer you opportunities in the future. Confidence also fosters creativity and innovation. When you trust your instincts and believe in your ideas, you are more likely to think outside the box and come up with unique solutions to problems. This creativity can set you apart from others and attract opportunities that require fresh perspectives and innovative thinking. In both professional and personal contexts, those who are confident in their creativity are more likely to be sought after for their ability to generate new ideas and approaches. Opportunities often come to those who can think critically and offer something new, and confidence is the key to unlocking that potential within yourself. In the end, attracting opportunities through confidence is about embodying the belief that you are capable, worthy, and ready to take on new challenges. Confidence isn't about arrogance or thinking you are better than others. It's about knowing your own value and being willing to share it with the world. It's about showing up fully, taking risks, and embracing both success and failure as part of the journey. When you cultivate confidence, you create an environment where opportunities are naturally drawn to you because you are seen as someone who can make things happen. By believing in yourself, projecting confidence in your interactions, taking initiative, and continuously growing, you become a magnet for the opportunities that align with your goals and dreams. Confidence gives you the power to shape your reality, to attract the right people and situations, and to step into the life you've always envisioned for yourself. When you fully embrace your confidence, the world responds by offering you the opportunities you've been seeking.